Good. Rock your weight from one foot across to the other foot. Allow a soft length to the legs without locking your knees. So you've got almost a sense of pouring the weight down through one leg and the other leg becoming a little lighter. And then slowly just lift one foot off the floor on one side. Put it down, rock onto that foot gently. So feel the transfer of weight. And the other foot might lift. We can see there on the bottom of my screen. You probably want to do a little less high than I'm showing you. Just making it visible for you. Walk back, I suppose. That's fun, isn't it? Good. So you're just getting used to being on one leg. Why, Bram? Because it becomes part of the next exercise. That said, if balance is a problem, you can omit it. Okay, omit standing on one leg. You just stand on two. So, let's learn the upper body first, and then we'll try one on one leg. So if you let the arms come into a kind of light crossed arm, where the hands are just lightly touching. The text actually says grip the elbows firmly. I've never been able to do that and bring the arms overhead. So I'm going to say touch the elbows lightly. And then let the arms come gently up. So they come over the head. Now, if you've got short arms and a big head, like your teacher, you just let the arms slide a little so you can get over the kind of headline. You might find you're leaning in the lower back a little. That's to do with a restriction in the shoulders. So you can settle for a bit further forwards of the head if you need to. You can change the angle of the arms there. So you'll notice if I go back, I tend to back arch. That's a tightness in the shoulder. So if you feel that, then just have the arms at that kind of angle. Feel free to fine tune this for your body. Just because the text says one thing, it might not be your body it's written about. So that's the movement. And then you gently push away. So now my palms are facing the ceiling. They're in that position, but above me. Good. And then you can go wide and down. I keep a little flexion in the wrist. You can just let that go if you've got any wrist problems. And think of the whole back body, kind of the shoulder blades down the back, getting involved in that release of the arms. So don't think of kind of cutting the arms off at the shoulder. It's almost right down to the waist, like giant, as if you're wearing a giant cape or like the wings of a giant bird. So as the arms come down, the shoulder blades glide right the way down the back. So the shoulders rest well away from the ears. So that's your movement. Let's just do that once again so you get familiar with it. Arms cross in front of you, forearms in line. Hands come up and over, arms come up and overhead or towards overhead. At that point, you softly lengthen a little bit. I'll talk about that in a second. And then you push away with the palms and let the arms fly wide. Easy peasy. Here comes the twist in the tail. If you shift your weight to one leg, lift the other leg and lightly rest your foot if you can on your thigh. Now you may think, oh God, no, it's too early in the weekend to start balancing. In which case you might just want to rest your foot on your calf. Might make life a little easier for the hip. Or if balance itself is the problem, you've got two choices. One, you work with the toes on the floor and the heel on the ankle bone. So you can keep the whole thing quite manageable for yourself, particularly as you're going to be flapping the arms around. Or you could work against an object, a wall perhaps, or a piece of furniture like this, and just rest the bent knee against the support, in this case the table leg. So now I'm just slightly leaning into that, very slight. It's just like a child's stabilizer on a bike. Just gives me the potential to use it if I need to. So if you find that, I know a couple of you have challenges when you're balancing. I haven't seen you in weekly classes and knowing you're involved. If you need that support, that's fine. Simplest support, of course, is just that. So then the arms can do their flappy thing. Okay, and you're literally there on one side for the moment. So the first time round, we're going to do it without thinking about it. And then in a moment, we're going to refine it with the breath back towards that breathing exercise we did while we were sitting. So just have a go at the movement first. Let's learn the movement before we add any fine tuning. So allow yourself to settle. If you're doing the full exercise, that's great. And feel free to get where you need to modify if you want. So pick a leg and allow it to come up. It's similar to a kind of hatha yoga retreat pose. Pelvis is levelish, so torso is nice and well balanced above it. So if you think of softly lengthening through the straight leg and really relaxing in the hip of the bent leg, you can apply a little bit of pressure foot to thigh, thigh to foot, so they can slightly push into each other. But ostensibly the spine line is still vertical. Good. Arms up. A little bit of length there on the sides, and then push away, or push the sky away if you want it to turn, and then fly the arms wide and down. So as a movement and a balance, you can then release that. So all we've done is a little balance with some movement. Let's have a go at that on the other side, just to get used to it. A little bit of length at this point, and then push away. Good. And release it. So we could do it as a kind of embracing the space around us. The exercise is called embracing space. But we also want to visit the inner space a little bit. So we're going to use the breath. Now, the movement itself is quite easy on the breath. It's that rising in breath. And that momentary pause. And then through the pause you're holding, which is still the top of the in-breath, and then the out-breath. Obviously not that long. That was me thinking while I said it. So it'll go in-breath, 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 hold, 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 and slow release. If you find you're gasping at the release or you're gasping at the next in-breath, you're doing too much. Now during this point, you can, if you feel like it, take 3 very subtle sniffs. So you breathe in. I'll come a little closer, as you can see. Breathe in. And then you kind of go. So I increase my capacity at the top of the movement just a little, just very subtle. Adding a little bit of top up to the breath. So I think I'm at the top of the breath and then I add just a touch more. Hold. So it's like filling a jar. And the beauty of teaching these exercises here in my own house, right next to the kitchen, is we've got a jar. So I fill the jar, in this case it's porridge oats. Get to the top and think, oh, there's still a little bit in the bag. So what do? You just let it settle and then add a little bit more. And that's exactly what you're going to do with the breath. Those of you who have a mind to fine tune this, and I know some of you have been working with it for a long time over the years. So it's an in breath and then a Little bit more. And then hold that. And then the release. So when you think you're at the capacity, you just take that subtle sniff-like quality. And if you really want to refine it, just drop the chin a little at the top of that. So it goes. It's a lot to think about. And if you are new to these exercises, you might want to forget all that and just move your body. So you're at perfect liberty to layer it at whatever level you want to work at. So you're lifting the arms, the top of the in-breath, you're holding momentarily, and then you're sighing out. If you're refining it, you're lifting the arms to the top of the in-breath, then taking in a fraction more, like shaking the jar to allow more space, and then hold, and then slow, deliberate out breath. Are we ready? You're going to do 3 or 4 on one side, otherwise we're swapping the legs continually, and then 3 or 4 on the other side. When you finish, do a good few changes of air, nice sigh-like breaths, okay, and then you can come back to either on your back to lie down and just completely relax, or if you want to, sit. Okay, if you're thinking, I don't want to do this on one leg, then just do it standing and make it a breathing exercise. Okay, so if you don't want to do the kind of balance with it, then leave it out. Okay, so take it at whatever suits you right now. And it's not a competition, it's not the one's better than the other. You want to absolutely posit it according to your ability and the way you feel right now. Agreed? Yes, Brad. Okay, I'll talk you through a couple and then I'll leave you on your own. And I suggest 3 or 4 on each side. Do less if it agitates you or it agitates the breathing, if you feel anxious with it. Okay, so when you're ready, you can take whatever leg position you like, 2 legs on the floor, heel on the ankle bone, toes on the floor, foot on the calf, or knee against a piece of furniture if you want. Otherwise, you're tree pose. And then begin in your own time. The first movement, if you're doing the whole thing, is to let the arms come up on the in-breath. A little bit more breath in there. I call it a sniff. And then hold that breath. And then your breathing rhythm release. And if you're able to, you simply carry on. Now, word of warning, don't over-breathe it. You're working absolutely at your capacity and no more. Don't be ambitious. And who knows, the pause may just be momentary, and that's fine. What it shouldn't really do is make us breathless. That's a no-no. When you've finished, feel free to either lie down, which might be preferable. The next exercises will be lying down ones, so it shouldn't upset the system if you want to lie down. Or diehards among you, old hands among you, I'd recommend you sit first. But go with what the body needs. And of course, if you're still working, the slow breathers among you, then don't feel rushed. Now, it's important you let everything recover, including the breath. So if there's any agitation in the breath at all, take a few more sighs or repeat that little shaking exercise, whatever you need. Or if you're on your back, you might just want to shake your hips a little, kind of let things loosen up and free up. So there's no residue of tension from what you've done. It's very important you don't hold on to tensions. And then when you're ready to settle in, lying down or sitting, the exercise is pretty much the same. You just need to be a little bit more mindful if you're lying down or not drifting off too much of it all. So you check your posture, you check the body. Make your resting as effortless as it can be. That might mean going through the 7 gestures quickly and efficiently for yourself, or just noticing if there's any way you're holding. And then if you need to, you could take a few more sigh-like breaths. You may not need to now, but just in case. It's quite possible you don't need instruction, but for some of you, those of you newer or new to these exercises, as I know a couple of you are, allow yourself to kind of move into the body a little, put your awareness in the body or on the body if you like, and just feel an area or a location of sensation. So we can be quite efficient about finding a place. It might be somewhere that's really talking to you right now, your lower back or your armpits or anywhere. It might still be a breathing sensation. It doesn't have to be. And you simply stay with that for a little while. You feel it. You become conscious of that area. And that's done without judgment, without any sort of questioning or debate. You just rest with it, quite amicably, quite friendly. Sensation and awareness, side by side. Like 2 good pals. And in the mutual trust, sensation awareness, body and mind, they can relax. So in trusting your experience, kind of a quiet confidence, if you like, you relax where you're feeling. And that relaxation is a letting go, it's a melting, it's an opening up, it's an unfolding, it's an accepting. There's no great method to it. You simply allow. And that which is relaxing, yes, the sight of sensation, but also that which is aware of it, if you like, the mind can relax too. So there's body, there's feeling, and there's that which is conscious. They've all got space and scope to relax. So very open, very free, feeling and relaxing. Okay.